my recycling trip. We're making money for a $3,000 trip, so stay tuned so I can tell you guys how I paid for this trip by myself with help. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys already didn't know, my name is Morgan, and in today's video I'm just gonna do a little bit more of a sit down video more than usually my vlogs or baking. So in this video, as you already saw from the clip before when I put this all together, I fundraised money and collected money for a for me, a very expensive trip. I've never saved this much money before in my life, and so I'm going to talk about how I fundraised this money with help from family, friends, and neighbors. So let's get started. Can you hand me my computer? Alright, so Shaw's going to hand me my computer. It's actually charging my portable charger right now. But in this video, I'm going to be explaining how I paid for this trip. And if you're wondering, this trip was to Washington, D.C. with my 8th grade class. At my middle school, I think they canceled one of the trips. I'm not sure. One of the other middle schools, my friends can fact check me on that went to that middle school. But I knew about this trip since, I believe, going into 7th grade, and this trip came really fast, you guys. The trip was a little bit less than $3,000 itself. And it's kind of crazy that I was able to fundraise money. I saved money from my birthdays, from Christmas, just from any holidays in general. I think I started with not even doing what I did or without donations. I started with $300. So that is crazy that I was able to fundraise all this money by myself. So the company that my school went through with this trip, they had a fundraising page where I can have family, friends, or just anybody can donate to my trip. So I had family donate, and that covered some of my trip, and the rest of the trip I just kind of fundraised and did stuff myself. So if you're wondering what I did to fundraise this trip, I did recycling, and YouTube was part of it, but now it's just kind of for fun. So make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. So I did recycling. It was kind of how my dad started it. My grandpa started it and made a college funds for my sisters and my cousins and I. So that's how that started, and then my dad kind of took over and just added to our college funds as well. And then my parents wanted me to pay for the trip. They just didn't want to hand me the trip and take it for granted. So basically that's how all this started. I know COVID made it really hard for me to fundraise money the way that I wanted to. I wanted to do baking, I wanted to do all kinds of stuff. That just didn't work out for me. So basically what I did was I sent out a flyer. I'm going to try and see if I can insert a photo of it because I'm filming on my camera right now and this is not where I want it to go. But I'm going to read it out to you guys so you guys can kind of get an idea of what I sent out to my neighborhood and family and friends. My mom created a Facebook, I don't know what they call it, a Facebook page. I don't have Facebook, so that was kind of out of the plan for me. So I sent this out. I have to delete everything that has personal information. It says, recycling my way to Washington, D.C. Hello family and friends. I have the wonderful opportunity to go on an educational travel trip to Washington, D.C. next year with my school. I was planning on other fundraisers to save some money, but COVID has made it difficult. Here's where you can help me. I'm wondering if you would be willing to donate your bottles and cans in non-CRV so I can recycle them. If you're able to help me, I will be providing a bag for you to place them in. If so, you can text or call my mom at number. So we can drop off a plastic bag. We can pick up from you every other Friday or whenever is convenient for you. Have a great rest of your day. Sincerely, Morgan. So that's how I sent out. That's how I kind of got everybody's attention. My neighborhood came in clutch, you guys. Literally, I think my first one was $15, and then it just kept increasing to $100, $115 every round. And that is a lot of bottles and cans, if you guys can't tell. And obviously, we don't buy soda that often, but when we do, we'll drink it. like we just don't like if we're having like family over or something, that's how we'll do that. And then throughout the year, I would send out reminders. So this was after Thanksgiving. It says, "Hello neighbors, I hope you had an amazing Thanksgiving. I just wanted to remind you that I'm still collecting bottles and cans for a Washington, D.C. trip. You can contact my mom at... Thank you for all the help and support. I'm getting closer to my goal from your help, Morgan." So this was around Thanksgiving, and my trip was postponed till June when it was supposed to originally be in March. So after about 2-ish months, I was finally able to finish reaching my goal of the money that I needed. So with all of that, I went on my trip even though I didn't finish fundraising my money. But basically, how this would work is I would have an aluminum can, and all those cans would go into one bag. I had water bottles, or just, I'm trying to think of like another good example, water bottles, or like just any type of water bottle or anything that's kind of like the same plastic would be in one bag. What's it, like a Gatorade bottle. So that's how I just sort everything out. Have glass, my non-CRV, which is you kind of have to separate because it's all different types of plastic. If you have any questions, you can comment down below about that. So I fundraised that and did that for a year with obviously help from family and friends. And I just kind of continued throughout that year and did all of my collecting through bottles and cans. And, it was honestly worth it, but I personally I'd find a different way to fundraise the money because it got kind of gross because I think I found I don't even know what it was, like nacho cheese. And then I found a baked potato pizza crust. I found a rotten banana, like peel. And that's that. Like, most of my neighbors, I'll say almost all my neighbors came in good clutch with helping me with that. So my trip was for 5 days. I think my dad, what was it? I'm going to do the math right now to show you guys how much it was a day. I was gone for 5 days, and basically the number divided by 5 was $584 a day. The only thing that I wish the trip had better was food. Food quality wasn't that good. I have to say, we didn't get to pick from a menu. It was kind of just like buffet style. And then we had to eat the hotel breakfast. They didn't change it every day. They only had bagels, so I had bagels 3 days in a row, which wasn't really, what's the word? Like, I didn't have my appetite after a few days of eating that. So after we're sending out like thank you letters and stuff, after I came back from my trip was in June. So that last minute vlog and my sister's video that they posted on my channel was because I was out of state to Washington, D.C. I visited 5 different states in the East Coast. That was actually my first time going to the East Coast. I visited Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, and then obviously D.C. So that's kind of like 4 or 5 states in there. So that was really cool. I actually really enjoyed my trip, you guys. I made some friends there. There's only 25 of us instead of 90, so it was kind of small. So after I came back from my trip, I wrote a thank you letter. And this thank you letter is kind of long, a little lengthy. So I'm still going to read it. I inserted a photo collage of my trip. Thank goodness my phone didn't run out of storage to collect 500 photos. So, in my thank you letter, I said, "Dear neighbors, family, and friends, I just wanted to say thank you for supporting me and helping me throughout my recycling journey to Washington, D.C. With your help, I was able to go to the following places on my trip: Holocaust Museum, Jamestown Glass Blowing, Mount Vernon, Harper's Ferry, Arlington National Cemetery, and many other places. One of my favorite places I visited was Harper's Ferry. This is because of the greenery, and I could walk into Maryland from West Virginia. I was able to walk up to Jefferson's Rock and many other historic things. A second favorite place I visited was Mount Vernon. I enjoyed seeing most of the original architecture of the homes. I don't know why that says home. Of the homes. Like the greenish paint in the dining room that is supposed to help with digestion, original wallpaper, a manual pedal chair to fan yourself, carriages, the conditions that people lived in, and many other historic things. The third favorite of mine was Williamsburg. I was able to interact with people, and they were able to demonstrate how a job would be done back in the day, seeing how a musket was fired and the replicas of the buildings, seeing how people would be serving time in jail, and many more interesting facts. I was able to make new friends, learn new things, and most importantly, explore. Not only was this one of my most memorable school trips, but it was also educational. With your help, I was able to achieve my goal to Washington, D.C. Although I have not fully met my goal to fundraise money, I still need your help. If you're still interested in helping me recycle for my leftover goal for the Washington, D.C. trip and future school trips, please let me know. Also, if you're interested in more information and photos of my trip, you can contact my mom. I wish I could share more about my trip and more photos in this paragraph. Thank you so much for all your help and contribution towards my trip. I couldn't have done it without you all. Sincerely, Morgan. So, I wrote all of this, and I did all that, and I had a blast on my trip. Hopefully I don't run out of time on this. I have 18 minutes left. But I fundraised the money by recycling, and besides recycling, I also did my block. I did some blocks without Emily. I did some blocks. What else did I do? I think in between that time, my neighbor needed help sorting some fabric for a company that she works for. So I helped her sort some of that. And then, what else? I'd save money from birthdays and holidays, like I said. Or like, what was it? Graduation, I had a few people give me some money. So I kind of saved some of that, although I kind of lost it. So, out of all of my paying my parents off, I came back with $10 in my wallet, which kind of like broke now. It's kind of sad. But that's how I kind of fundraised my money, and the meaning behind this was just for me to enjoy and appreciate my trip more instead of having my parents pay for it. So that's kind of like what I did. I literally could have sworn I took video clips on my phone of me paying. They might be deleted by now. I have no clue. Or maybe not. Let me check my deleted camera roll. If not, I'll insert those clips and basically how I did that. But that's mostly how I paid for my trip, just by recycling. If I could find any more information, I'll put links down below. I live in California, so in all states, I think it's kind of different, like how much like they waste stuff by. So I'll insert the links for my California people out here. So we'll do that. I actually have some video clips in here, you guys. So I'm gonna recover those and insert those for you guys. So yeah, that is it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed this or have any questions about how I recycled to Washington, D.C. So basically, if you want any help or information about how I did this recycling, feel free to comment down below, and I'd be more than happy to help anybody that has questions on how I fundraised this money. I'm not going to say exactly how much a trip is because it kind of varies every year depending on which class goes. I don't remember if my trip increased or not, but there's some things that could be improved, like the food and hopefully like the airplane tickets, because there's like 3 seats and then there's the aisle and then the 3 seats. Overall, it was a pretty good trip. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below on how I did this, or any questions about the recycling that I did, or just any questions that you have. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, turn post notifications on. I upload every Tuesday and Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you guys also follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys!